I made so many friends. I have seen friends like go into remission, be in treatment, like all of these things. And to have that support system was so, so empowering because in a way, like, yes, like I still have friends outside of camp, but it's so different to be able to connect with people on such an intimate personal level of like, you know, a side of me that like, or like, you know, something I've been through that I don't think I could put into words for other people.
Welcome to the Sunrise Magic Makers podcast. I'm Melissa Curley, and I will be sitting down every episode to talk to some of the incredible people who have helped bring the magic of sunrise to life for the last 20 years.
Today, I am joined by Hina Zahid. Hina first came to Sunrise as a camper, and now she's a staff member, helping create the same magic that shaped her own journey.
Hi, Hina.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course.
I'm very excited to talk to you a little bit about your story. You've been here at Sunrise for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you could just go ahead and kind of let our listeners know like who you are and how you came to be at Sunrise.
Yeah. Well, I'm currently the Rangers unit head. It's my second summer with the Rangers. I've been like on the blue shirt team staff team for now, I want to say 7 years. And before that, my like Sunrise journey started in 2012. So like I came to camp as a camper with my siblings, super exciting. It was like our first camp experience, our first like away from home experience. I was like almost 10, but yeah, it was super fun. I've grown up quite literally here, like in front of people's eyes.
So do you mind sharing your journey with cancer and how you came to actually be at Sunrise?
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with a brain tumor when I was around 1.5. And then after some treatment, I was in remission. And then when I was and we didn't know about Sunrise yet. And when I was in the 4th grade, I relapsed. And that was a really hard time for my family. Like at this point, like I had all my siblings, like we really thought like it was all behind us. And then like, you know, like it comes back and it's like the scariest thing in the world. And I'm at like my hospital, which like somehow was like the best place ever. It was like, like kids go to Disney. I was like, oh my God, we're going to the doctor's office. And they told my mom about Sunrise and they gave her a pamphlet and she was like, I don't know. Like, I don't want my kid to go like so far away. And because we lived in Brooklyn at the time and, you know, we took a tour, we gave it like a shot. And it was like kind of history from then. Like I never looked back. I was a Stormer girl. When I started, that same summer, I stopped treatment. I've been in remission ever since.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, super exciting. I've been able to like go through camp, like learning more things about myself and the people around me and their journeys with cancer, and kind of like grow with them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. If you're comfortable, can we talk a little bit about what it was like for you as a kid to have cancer?
Yeah. It was definitely really hard. It was one of those things where my parents were like a little bit hesitant to talk about it just because like they were like, we don't want to put so much on you. We don't want to like add to everything else going on. Like, you know, like physically going through cancer, they didn't want to also mentally put me through it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely hard because I obviously, like, my friends didn't know. And all of a sudden, it's very odd when all of a sudden you've been going to school with people for your whole life, and then all of a sudden everything about you is different. And everyone and all the teachers have to treat you a different way. And all of a sudden, like, you have a paraprofessional and your friends are like, I don't like the way you're being treated. Like, I feel like I'm not getting this and I'm not getting that. And it became like, I was in shock almost. Like, I would go home in tears and I was like, I don't know what I've done. I must have done something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what I've done to be so quickly outcast by like my friends that I grew up with. Like I went to preschool with them. And going to Sunrise at first, like I remember being so hesitant because I was like, well, I'm different at school. I'm going to be different here. And like, I don't want to do it. Like I'm not having it. Like when we toured, it was different because there was no one else here. And then it was time to get on the bus, and I was really nervous. And we got here, and I was definitely hesitant at first because I was still on active treatment. Like, I remember getting a wellness check and being like, why is there a doctor at summer camp? And it was just, it almost was like it changed in a moment, because all of a sudden, like, everything was fine, like, instantly. It was so magically odd. Like, I had counselors coming up to me being like, oh my God, what's your name? Oh my God, that's so cool. Like, let's sit together. It's time for roundup. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, I have so many people for you to meet. Yeah. And they were like, we have roundup. Like, let's go do this and let's go do that. And obviously at first I was like, I remember getting off the bus and being like, where did my mom send me? Like, this is, I don't know what's going on. But it was just so, like, instantaneous, like, that shift. And I remember, like, it's obviously, like, I don't have, like, very concrete memories. Like, I don't have good recollection. But I remember that so vividly, like, sitting. I know exactly where in the hub I was sitting. There's a counselor sitting in front of me, and she turns around, and she's like, hi, what's your name? And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh, I'm Hina. And she goes, oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Hannah. And that was it. Yeah. And then, like, I was at camp. And, like, I made so many friends. I have seen friends, like, go into remission, be in treatment, like, all of these things. And to have that support system was so, so empowering, because in a way, like, yes, like, I still have friends outside of camp, but it's so different to be able to connect with people on such an intimate personal level of, like, you know, a side of me that, like, or, like, you know, something I've been through that I don't think I could put into words for other people. Yeah.
I'd imagine here you don't have to be the kid with cancer.
Yeah.
You're just another kid.
Exactly.
Which I think is just, like, the greatest thing. So you've stayed all these years and you've became a counselor in a blue shirt. What keeps you coming back?
Oh, I think it's just like obviously to some extent, like, there's the notion of, like, oh, like, it's my second home. Like, it's my first home. Like, I started camp, like, I lived in Brooklyn, and then a few summers later, we moved to, like, Queens, Long Island. So, like, my whole life, like, I had to uproot my whole life again, and now I had to be the new kid all over again and do this and do that. And in a way, it was a lot, but, like, camp was constant. Like, all my friends from home changed, but none of my friends from camp changed. And I think having that community is, like, it means so, so much. Like, there are people, like, even on the blue shirt team that was like, we were campers together. Yeah. And it's a very full circle moment. And to now be on the staff side, like, I get to be in touch with, like, counselors that, like, meant a lot to me. And to hear, like, the impact camp had on them, it's a very, like, you do it for the kids. And then when you are a kid, it's like, and you join the staff side, it's a very fulfilling feeling of, like, I know what it's like to be in their shoes. And I am so grateful to my counselors for what they've done, because it's genuinely made me who I am. And if I can help someone on their journey, even, like, 0.0001%, like, that I think means the most.
Yeah. So my favorite question to ask everybody who comes on this is, have you had an aha moment or, like, a super magical memory with Sunrise?
Yeah. I think in a very, like, cliche but truthful way, like, I have so many moments, and, like, every moment is a moment. Like, it's like when you're sitting on the turf at Roundup with your kids and they just turn around and they look at you and they're like, I'm having the best summer ever, or, like, I'm having a great day. Like, it'll, like, make me emotional, because I'm like, I know how much that can mean. They might not notice it now, but, like, summers from now, like, those little moments mean a lot. But I think for me as a staff member, some of the biggest aha moments have been, like, moments of growth. Because back in 2018, when I first started, like, my staff career, but I was still a camper, I was the Acorn CIT. And Acorns are going into preschool and nursery. So the kids are, like, 3.5 and 4. And all of those boys and girls are now going into middle school. So it's a lot to see them walking down the street and, like, down Main Road. And sometimes they'll yell out. They'll be like, Hina, do my baby pictures? And it's like, Yeah. Yes, I do. Like, let's take 10 minutes. So those are very big moments for me. I think one of the most recent moments of growth is we just had Color War. And for Color War, there's like the photo booth for the younger half of camp, the older half of camp. And for the green team's younger half photo booth, they like had like a kid like read what the photo booth was about. And it was one of my campers. And every blue shirt that was judging can attest to this. I'm on the ground, camera up, like near tears, watching him just read a script. Because now he's going into second grade, but when I first met him, he was 3, and he was this energetic, bubbly kid who loved sports, and like that was it. Like, I don't want to go on stage and I don't want to do this. I just let me know when we're going to the playground and I'll come. And to see him like with his friends, like at lunch in the pool, like be like, yeah, like I'll go read that script, sure.
Yeah.
And like not have stage fright and do all those things. Like I was genuinely so emotional. And yeah, I think just being like a counselor in a blue shirt for so long, like even just having like my old camper siblings, and they'll tell stories of when their siblings were my campers, and to hear how much camp meant to them then, and like how long it stays with them, I think is so magical. Like every parent I've spoken to, every camper I've spoken to, every staff member I've spoken to know them for so long, or even like let's say they come for a week and their families are like, thank you so much, that was the best week ever. I think is just so life-changing. And then from when I was a camper, like every day was a party. Like it was, oh my God. I remember like just the moment that they didn't give me a staff shirt, they just gave me a hat. They're like, you can CIT, you just have to wear a hat. And I was like, my life has changed. It was so magical. I CIT'd for the Acorns, and it was so incredible. Like that summer I was like, I can't be pre-med. Like I need to work with children. I want to work in a school. I want to do education. So in that way, like that was part of my aha, like just knowing that like this camp is a very big extension of who I am, and I want to like take it with me, and yeah, like seeing my old camp like counselors visit, and like they were my blue shirts and now I'm in the blue shirt, like that. It's very, my full circle moments are my aha moments.
Yeah. So we have a lot of staff here that we hear are like inspired by working at Sunrise to take with them onto their career. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Where your career goals are, where you're at in your career, and where Sunrise inspired it?
Yeah. So before I was like a CIT counselor, I was in a STEM school, like very set on like, I'm going to do pre-med, I'm going to like go to med school, all of those things. And part of that, it wasn't necessarily Sunrise inspired, but it's inspired by like my own real life story, like being a child with cancer, like wanting to give back. Like my doctors like mean so much to me, like that for a while, that was my family. And then coming to Sunrise and seeing like it's more than just like the 4 walls of a hospital, and like you can still work with this demographic and like have fun and like be quote unquote normal. And I think that was just so eye-opening. Like I CIT with the Acorns, and I told my mom, like, I have to teach preschool. And she was like, no. She was like, no, you have to go to med school. And I was like, well, we'll figure that out. And I kept thinking about it. And then I kept coming back. Every summer I was a counselor, I was a blue shirt, and just kept getting more of those skills under my belt. And I realized that I loved working with children, like in a more like learning like capacity, because like the kids still learn here, it's not school, but they like emotional skills, social skills, and being a part of that I think is so empowering. And I think having that, and it's very fulfilling is what it is. So I graduated from undergrad in 2024 with a bachelor's in neurobiology, but now I'm currently halfway through my master's program at Teachers College, getting a master's in elementary inclusive education. So grades 1 through 6, gen and special ed. And that's very much like inspired by my Sunrise story. Like I'm working with 1st and 2nd graders now. I'm student teaching in first grade in the fall. So it's very like one thing led to another. And if I didn't have that Sunrise work experience and like in that way, like I wouldn't be on this path.
Yeah. So I would love to just like, I love knowing that piece about you. And I think that something that we don't really talk about enough, or people, or not that we don't talk about, but people don't think about as much. So like we look at Sunrise, we talk about giving childhood back, and everybody looks at that as we're giving them fun and we're giving them joy and friendship and laughter and all of those things. But I think we're also giving them a chance to grow and to learn. And I've been having a lot of conversations at home recently about the importance of camp for children. And it's not just about having fun. It's about the life skills, because thankfully pediatric cancer has a very high survival rate. And a lot of these children who are in hospitals a lot, they're not necessarily getting that chance to build those life skills. I'm curious, like what you've seen from your perspective now, having your background and your education and having worked with these kids, like, is there anything that you can point to that you're seeing happen because of camp with these kids?
Oh my gosh, yes. I have the most amazing story. And it's not just like the children with cancer, it's also their siblings, because now like
Absolutely.
sometimes they have to stay at home all the time because like their parents like maybe don't have childcare and like need to prioritize like one child over the other. Like I see it happen so much and so often. Like part of it is like just like being like a blue shirt now and seeing my kids now and in summers past and seeing what they need like to be with their age group. Like sometimes I know that there's like your school grade within your camp grade. And sometimes like we need to be in the camp grade that's most appropriate for our development, but we also have to consider like, well, let's think about how camp can help you develop. And I've seen like children that like are in the same camp grade as their school grade and like make immense strides. Like they don't come that often because maybe they're in the hospital. And then when they are here, like we teach them incredible life lessons and they get to socialize for the first time. And it's almost like I've toured campers like who might look completely different or act completely different from the way they are now, because now we're in week 5 and they love camp and they're comfortable and they know their counselors, they're making friends. It's a beautiful big open space for them to really like experience like their bodily autonomy, like their emotional regulation, their self-expression. So it's really, really beautiful. But yeah, I had a camper many years ago it was my first summer as a blue shirt ever, who was a sibling. And when he came to us, he was almost completely nonverbal. Like, not even one words. Like, we were teaching hand signals. We made, like, makeshift PEX boards. This child loved to walk around with, like, jingly toys, which thank goodness, because if they didn't, because they love to run, and oh my gosh. And so there was a lot going on. Like, obviously there was a child with cancer at home. There was like a new baby. Like, it was like the attention was clearly not on this sibling that we had. And so they had some like behavioral struggles, like staying with the group. Like, they would get frustrated. They were nonverbal. And towards the end of the summer, like, we worked really hard on finding the things that worked for them, like a tin of Orbeez that they could just like sift through. Like, they were very sensory seeking, and finding all of the things that would help them came to a really magical moment where we kept modeling language, and then all of a sudden you would get like one word here or there. And this was the same summer, and it was like, and they were an acorn. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, like, what are you eating? Bagel. That was so much growth. And like, obviously those are huge strides in growth, but in the grand scheme of things, maybe they look a little small. Now I see this camper walk up and down Main Road, and they'll come up to me and they'll be like, hi, Hina. And then it's just like chitter chattering all day long. I can hear their voice from across the campgrounds. They have made such incredible strides. They're very sociable, so chatty. Sometimes it's like, I love you. I have a group I need to get to. I have to go. And there's like still chatting. And they're like, no, but I played this game and I did this thing. And to think about where it started and like everything that came with that, like working together with like my co-blue shirt and the other staff members and like the science specialist, and to come up with all of these things and tools to help him succeed, like, and to see where he is now is the most magical thing in the world. Like, you would never in a million years like put two and two together that like this is the same child.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. And we see things like that happen every day, every summer. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. I want to let you get back to camp. But it was just so wonderful talking to you. And I've known you for a long time now. And your story is wonderful. And we're just so happy to have you here at camp. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your summer.
Thank
you.
We'll
talk to you again soon.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, amazing.
Thank you.